All right. All right, let's try this again. Hold on for a minute. I got to put this up.
Okay, I need my notes too.
All right.
Oh. Oh.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is like the 4th try. We're on law number 9, the law of the ladder. All right, if you guys could comment, let us know if you can hear us.
Okay, hopefully this works. That's the beauty of
If this doesn't
live.
work, we are running out of phones. Yay! All right, yes.
I wonder what it is with my phone.
Probably too much Pinteresting.
Too much Pinterest.
Awesome.
All right, let's
so
get going.
Where are we? Adam and Michelle, Carrie, that's who we are. If you're just now joining us, we got our diehards. And we're here with the 4 at 4, our Facebook Live, 4 days a week at 4 o'clock Pacific, 6 Central, and 7 Eastern. And we are network marketing trainers, bloggers, professionals, and also authors. And we are covering this month the book, John Maxwell's book, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. We're going through it a chapter a day. We're on chapter number 9. Tomorrow will be 10, and then we'll follow back up on Monday, which Monday we're going to be in Lake Tahoe, so hopefully we have decent coverage there. But we're excited. We're 9 days away from our Atlanta trip. We're going actually in sooner, but 9 days from now, on Friday, September the 30th, John Maxwell's hosting an epic event. So think about this. You got the #1 thought leader on leadership in the world. He's bringing in 60 MLM leaders from around the country, and it's going to be a one-day training event that you're going to be able to stream and have access to. So if I were you, I'd start planning some home meetings and getting some friends over on the couch. And if you can't do it Friday, what a lot of people are doing, just for an idea, is they're doing it on Saturday, and they're just going to play the replay with their team. So it's a little bit more convenient on Saturday, and you get 30 days to play back the access. So that's at multiplyWithMaxwell.com. And you can get details there.
Here's a note. I was looking at the calendar, and we're going to have to double up on our chapters next week. So,
are we?
Yeah. So on Monday, I believe... Well, I wrote it down. So it's going to be 2 chapters a day next week.
We'll post the schedule in the Facebook group.
And then also, if you're subscribed to our blog, I do send out like a summary and replay schedule, all the links to the replays, and the schedule for the following week. So if you're subscribed to our blogs, you'll definitely get that schedule as well.
Awesome. So if you guys could do us the favor again and just put our link for Adam and Michelle Carey. That way, if anybody is not subscribed, it's free, and you'll get weekly training. I'm just going back to the comments, make sure you guys can hear us loud and clear. Welcome everybody. You got New York in the house, Texas,
Alabama.
Let us know where you're calling in or tuning in from.
I don't know why it switched around.
What switched around?
We're appearing to be opposite sides.
We are?
But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started.
As long as it's not another man. Okay.
We are a little bit late because of the sound.
So let's dive in, guys. The law. Michelle's going to start, but I'm going to start by just... Yeah, you're going to start. I made that executive call. So number 9. I know we say, oh, this one's my favorite one. But law of the ladder is huge, guys. Law of the ladder says character growth determines the height of your personal growth. Character matters. Michelle, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I was just kind of researching on this because this is our topic that we're going to be training on in a breakout session for the John Maxwell event. And I heard something really profound. I heard, there's a difference between building your foundation in your life and your business on rock, and then there's the difference between building sand castles or building everything on sand. And the really interesting note is that sand actually used to be rock. Sand is rock that's been broken down by weather over time. And I just really started to think about that. That's kind of like our character. And so every day we have choices that will either, choices that will go against our character or choices that will reinforce stronger character. So every time you make a good choice, that's reinforcing having, that foundation of rock. Actually makes your rock stronger. But whenever we're making a not so good choice, that's like a little bit of sand chipping away from the rock. And if we do that enough, that means that will eventually be sand. And as you know, sand can't hold any pressure. It can't hold any weight. Whenever we're at the beach and we build little sand castles, we call Hannah the Sandcastle Destroyer 9000, because every time I just put build one tower, she's already stepping on it and she pulverizes it.
Yeah.
So I just liken that to when we've violated integrity so many times that every time we try and build something up, whenever pressure comes, whenever life happens, it just can't hold any pressure or weight, so it automatically gets wiped out.
Yeah, that's good. I love what Proverbs 10:9 says. He who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his way becomes known. I think we don't want to maintain integrity just so we look good. It really is, I think the biggest reason is more of an internal issue. And in network marketing, guys, we need character and integrity more than almost any other profession, because we already have an uphill battle. We've come a long ways, from the old school ways of doing things, and we are gaining more traction and more notoriety. But in our book, our personal book, Don't Be That Guy, there's 2 chapters that come to mind that are some of the most common mistakes. And I don't know if people intentionally do this. I think a lot of it is how they were taught, or they just don't really think it through, and we did it. So we're pointing the finger at ourselves. But the 2 chapters that I believe relate the most to this chapter, the Law of the Ladder, is the oh by the way phone caller and the bait and slam. So if you're not familiar with those, the oh by the way phone caller goes like this. You got your written list and you call a friend you haven't talked to for a while. You catch up for 45 minutes and ask a bunch of genuine questions. How's the wife? How's the dog? How's the kids? How's the house? And then at the end of the conversation, you slip in the, oh, by the way, I have this opportunity I want to show you. Well, what that does, guys, is it makes them feel slimed, and they figure out real quickly, like, wow, okay, that was probably why they were calling me. I wonder if that 45-minute phone call, those conversations before, if they actually genuinely meant it. And most of us, we genuinely mean it. Like we just don't want to come right out with the business. All right, we're back. Put yourself in their position. Would you rather somebody just come right up front and be honest with you, or pretend one thing and mean another, right? And so oh, by the way, the bait and slam is the second. It's probably one of the most highly committed crimes in network marketing. And that's where you invite your friends over for dinner, and then they pull up and they see 10 cars in the driveway, and they walk into a business presentation that they did not know about. We have a good skit on that one. We've done that with family. We've done that with friends. In our book, we did that with a pay-per-view fight. People came over thinking they were going to watch Manny Pacquiao, which they did, but they didn't get to watch it until they saw a presentation, and we almost got murdered, and we'll never do that again. And so we learned it the hard way. And I just think the reason I'm talking about this is I get contacted. Can I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. We get contacted, like, a lot of messages, especially like if you're in different Facebook groups, people wanting to connect, right? And I totally get it. You got to connect with people, you got to build rapport, and you just got to go for it. But I want to specifically talk about if you're in network marketing and you're prospecting other people in network marketing, if they're happy and they're like fired up about what they're doing, don't try to prospect them, just encourage them. I had this guy recently, he connected with me and said, hey, I saw you in this group, I want to connect. So hey, how you doing? And where are you from? And he was asking some questions. We're going back and forth. And then he just slips in, oh, by the way, have you heard of this particular company? And it's like, and I told Michelle yesterday, I was like, this guy's going to try to prospect me. You watch. I just could sniff it. I could smell it. And it's like, he didn't want to connect. He wanted to prospect me. And he's already in network marketing. He knows I'm full-time. So why don't you just be straight up and be forward about what you're doing? Like, don't ask me a bunch of questions about my family when you don't even care. And so my point is, I think when it comes to our profession, number one, we need to be honest. Number two, we can't be sneaky about it. And yes, we do want to be break the ice and have conversations. And sometimes you can't just come right out with it. But the best technique is find out what people want and then show them a solution. Find out a pain point and then offer a solution. So this just happened. So I was a little fired up about it because I hate when people waste my time. Like, just be straightforward, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when it comes to the oh, by the way phone call or the oh, by the way Facebook message, it's like, if you don't want to build a genuine relationship and connection with the person, I suggest you just come right with it, and, in your opening sentence or your opening message. They're either open, or not. It's either the right time for them or it's not. And I just want to add some of the other areas where we should really avoid, if you want to keep your integrity and your credibility in network marketing, is number one, it's over exaggeration.
Yes.
I think that has painted network marketing to be kind of a snake oil business when it's a bona fide business. There's a lot of great products and services out there that really do, have solutions. They really do work. But when there's the element of over exaggeration, over time, people just get jaded, you know what I mean? And then also over exaggerating income or how easy it's going to be. I hate when people say, well, this is going to be the easiest money. Well, maybe in relative to like building a brick and mortar business, but are they going to have to work? Yes. And so
keep going. I'm going to plug the phone in.
And so, yeah. And then another one is, you kind of touched on it, Adam, is stealing prospects, whether it's within your own company, because I know there's hotel meetings. Wonder if you guys could see that. Okay, there's hotel meetings that happen all across the nation. If someone sends someone to a hotel meeting and you're in the same company, we should all feel like we could trust each other and we're not going to lose our prospects that we send to other people. And we've had so many times where we could have sponsored someone, but we went out of our way to contact the person that they would have been working with. You know what I mean? We contacted the leader to get in touch with that person. So I mean, we were doing that just because we wanted to make sure that everybody could trust us, because I think that's the biggest thing in business is other people being able to trust you. And if there was ever a time where they couldn't trust you, that just will affect how they see you and how they deal with you for the rest of your life, for the rest of the time that you are in connection. There's people that, there's things that have happened. And so going forward, every time they'll bring something to me, I have a filter.
I have a story too. I want to share along the lines, but I don't want to interrupt you.
And then just bashing other companies and stealing downlines. I just think we're not a Shark Tank, but we don't it's just, I don't know. You kind of touched on it, so I don't have to belabor it.
So there was here's a story. Maybe you can ask yourself what you would do. I'm not highlighting, hey, look what I did, but it's just something that I didn't feel right about. So we hosted a particular meeting in our city, and there was a guest that came. He was invited by somebody else from another city, and I think they called me the next day. They got my card because I hosted the meeting, and they said, hey, I want to join your team. And I said, well, number one, no, and number two, what happened to the guy that invited you? And he goes, well, he's brand new. I don't think he was very professional. And people would say, well, ultimately they get to decide who they work with, right? And I said, listen, man, you should feel blessed and honored that you even know about this company, that someone actually brought it to you, because had you heard of it before? No. So if it wasn't for this guy, you wouldn't know about the company. So I understand sometimes you want to shop for a sponsor, you want to get support, you want to work with people that know what they're doing, but I wasn't going to sponsor this guy. I just refused to. I said, listen, let me find out who is kind of up higher in command, who, if you want to work with, a leader, let me find out who this guy's connected to. And I already knew, so I called corporate just to be sure, and then I worked up and I found the top leader who that it would be connected to, and I got that guy connected with the top leader. And this guy ended up promoting several times, which promoted one of our friends. So I knew the top leader. I didn't know the new guy, but I also knew one of the guys in between. Hopefully this is making sense. But the prospect ended up being a key person to help one of our friends promote. Are we tied financially? No, not at all. But it was just a situation where, okay, you lead a meeting, kind of all eyes on you, and sometimes people want you to sponsor them. But in our opinion, if they were invited by somebody else, then in our opinion, that's hands off. Or another story. Remember that story when you were going through the airport? Mm-hmm. You want to share that?
I don't.
So Michelle was going through the airport, and I think because of a luggage tag, this one guy saw, like, oh, are you with this company? And Michelle said, yeah. And the guy's like, oh, man, my friend or cousin's been trying to get me to look at that company forever. Well, Michelle could have easily swooped in and prospected that person. But in our opinion, if someone's been intentionally prospecting them, what Michelle did is she said, you know what? You ought to call your cousin because this, company's allowed us to do this, this, and this. And so she pushed them back to that individual, and they ended up, you saw him at the meeting, right? You saw the guy, the TSA agent at the meeting. And so everybody has like a different system. Some people say, well, they're up for grabs until they look at the presentation. No. Well, I disagree with that. I would say if someone's been, like a friend or a family member's been dripping on this person, trying to get them to look, you could be the one to step in and say, you know what, you really should get with your cousin and take a look at that. Because wouldn't you want someone to do the same for you? Yep. So, like, this is a real big, we hold this pretty high. So hopefully you guys, hopefully this makes sense to you guys.
So I just wanted to relate this because, at that moment, could we have made a lot of money from that one contact coming to us? Yes.
Yeah, we could have.
But you know what? Just seeing that that person went into the right line and it ended up promoting a person who ended up promoting a person made me feel really good. You know what I mean? And so there's a saying called eat well or sleep well.
Yeah.
And there was a whole podcast on it. It was really awesome. But anyway, if you could either choose to eat well, and every time you could just choose money over character, but you might not necessarily sleep well. But if you always choose to sleep well, in the long run, you're going to be able to sleep well and eat well.
Yep.
As we mentioned before, that wisdom is the multiplier of riches. Wisdom is the multiplier of gold and influence. So always choose wisdom, and wisdom goes with character. They go hand in hand. So I just love that. Just eat well or sleep well.
Yeah, I want to give props to Ali Madawi, who just jumped on.
From France.
He's tuning. Are you tuning in from France, bro? France. He is, we are on the same page. He is cut from the same cloth. Mm-hmm. He just released a book called The Lying Network Marketer. It's kind of a catchy title. And it's really along the same premise as our book, where it's pointing the finger at what we do wrong in the profession. And it's really trying to raise it to a higher standard. So look up that book, The Lying Network Marketer by Ali Madawi. He's listening in. I think he's in Europe right now. So thank you, brother. Appreciate what you do for the profession. And thanks for listening in, man. So what else you got, Michelle?
Just 3 points that I really loved in the chapter was inside victories precede outside ones. So whatever kingdom you create on the inside is going to be the kingdom that you create on the outside. If it's rickety, if you're building sandcastles, it may look pretty, but once the first wind comes, first storm or pressure comes, all of that, what you built, is going to fall. So what we want to always do is focus on, building on rock and building that reinforcement, because the more, the higher you go in network marketing, the bigger the team, the more the influence, the more character that you're going to need to uphold. And so there's been so many times where, I don't know about if you've heard about lottery winners, but people that have come into a lot of money, let's say 3 to 5 years down the road, they're always more broke than what they were and more in worse shape than when before they won the lottery. So it's all about character, you know what I mean? And then focus on being better on the inside rather than the outside. And we have a story for that. I don't know if you want to share that.
What story is that?
Our inside development is totally within our control. So we can't control what happens to us in life, but the thing that we can control is how we develop ourselves and the character that we develop. Mm-hmm. And so just going back to focus on being better on the inside rather than the out, we had a really big experience with this when we were pushing for the big promotion with our company. This promotion brought us a lot of notoriety, because probably less than 1% of people make it to that. And so we were working on personal development really diligently, focusing on that. And then once we promoted, we kind of started to shift our focus to the outside. We started to really try and live up to the expectations of that level, if you know what I mean. Like we're more focused on our image more than anything else. And so that started to put cracks in our character, because we stopped focusing on what was going on in the inside, and instead we were feeding off the praise of people, and that became our whole identity. We were just, wrapped up in all of that. And then when came time where we got criticism, it really killed me. And that gave me, adversity introduces a woman, in my case, to herself. That introduced me to myself and told me, you know what, you're relying too much on the praise of people, and that you're getting your identity wrapped up in all of that. And so I had to go through a process of separating myself and just really starting to rebuild my identity from the inside out.
That's good. Yeah, we get to share this law in Atlanta. This is the law we get to talk about, which is the law of the ladder. So I'm really glad we gave them some of our favorites, and this was one of them, and that's the one they gave us. I want to read this. We're going to wrap up here in a moment. I want to read this out of the chapter on page 153. It says, "If we desire to grow and reach our potential, we must pay more attention to our character than our success." We could stop there. Good. We must recognize that personal growth means more than expanding our minds and adding to our skills. It means increasing our capacity as human beings. It means maintaining core integrity even when it hurts. That's what I'm talking about. Yep. Even if it's a loss. It means being who we should be, not just being where we want to be. It means maturing our souls. And, we were talking before we jumped on about, if you're faithful with little, you'll be faithful with much, with more. And just the other day, we were having breakfast. We went out to breakfast. What day was that? We just woke up and we're like, let's go get breakfast. We never go out to breakfast, but it was amazing. Bacon, that's all I can say.
I feel like eating eggs once a year, and that was it.
Yeah, quick joke. Why did the pig get hired at the restaurant? Because he was good at baking bacon.
You totally butchered that.
I know, I butchered. Okay,
man.
So we went out to breakfast, and I ordered an orange juice, and then Hannah ended up drinking it. So I ordered another orange juice, and orange juice is never like free refills. And so when I got the bill, I looked at that, and there was only one orange juice on there. And I told the lady, I just said, "Hey, you didn't ring me up for the other orange juice," when we went up to the counter. She said, "Oh, wow, thanks for letting me know." And she gave me a new ticket. And it was like, $2 or $3. But the point is I ordered it, and I'm going to pay for it. And I could have easily just paid my ticket and left. But it's like those little things, you got to just be the same no matter how much or who it is or how little or whatever. And because if I was the restaurant owner or if I was a server, I would hope that they would do the same for me. And so that was just like one small example that happened the other day. And I would just encourage you, like even in those, even if it's a glass of orange juice, like if you are supposed to pay for it, pay for it. And will help you sleep better at night. I don't know about you. Maybe that doesn't convict your soul, but
sleep better, eat better.
Yeah. And then the last thing, did you want to talk about anything else?
No, I just think like in the area of giving for us, I always used to say, well, when I make more money, I'll be more generous. But in the reality, when you make more, it's going to be harder to be more generous because you're going to be giving away bigger amounts.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just you got something
I know.
Maybe they can't see, maybe they can't.
Edit it out.
But
edit it out.
Yeah. So it's like if you're faithful with little, you'll be faithful with a lot. It gets harder when you have to give away larger amounts, or when you have responsibility for more. If the character is not there, then it really could make you crumble from the outside in. And I'm just so thankful, that like we've gone through a journey where it's been character building, because I think that, and this is true for all of us, if we get promoted too quickly, get the money too quickly, we could self-destruct if the character is not there.
Yeah, there's been, I don't know who, if there was a particular person, for some of you it would be your dad, for some of you it would be the company CEO or a friend, but think of the person that you really admire the most. Maybe it's God. Maybe whoever. But think about the person that you really would, if they said, you know what, I'm really proud of you. Like whenever you're in a situation where it's like a gray area, like should I, shouldn't I? Like imagine that person is watching, and if it's God, He's already watching. Like you can fool yourself, but He knows your heart, right? He knows what's going on. But just imagine that person's over your shoulder, and like the disappointment you would feel if you actually let them down. And so maybe that could help you a little bit, because first, I mean, you should want to not let down yourself, but maybe it would help if you kind of could visualize that person. Because I've heard some people in our training say, you know, do everything as if the CEO was watching over your shoulder, not as a policeman, but just the fact that we wouldn't want to disappoint him or let him down. So,
oh, my mama says Ollie.
There we go. That's awesome. Good. Don't disappoint your mama. She'll smack you.
Just one more thing before we go is I just noticed on the points in the back of the book on how to guard yourself from having character failures. So I summed it up into one word, because he says recognize that everyone has a weakness, and then also that's recognizing that you have weakness. Be teachable, serve others, be grateful, and don't think you're above the law. You know, sometimes some people get to success and they think like, well, I'm not subject to, you know, what everybody else is subject to. Like I could get away with it, essentially.
Yeah.
And so I think the one word that sums that up is pride. You know, just having like the pride of, oh, I got here on my own, and I'm going to take, it's cool to take pride. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take pride and like be proud of what you've done, but it's like having that pride go above everything else, I think gets people in dangerous situations. And one of the things that I really love there is be grateful. And one of our really good friends, we were at a prayer meeting last night, and one of our friends was healed from Lyme disease. Now that's a very rare form of disease that actually gets healed. And so every day he was just instructing this woman that every day he woke up and he just started with being thankful. You know, God, I'm so thankful that I have toes. Like when that was like the first time he woke up and he felt horrible, and that's all he could think about was, God, I'm thankful that I have toes.
Wow.
And so every single day he just started proclaiming being thankful over all the little things that he had, and he was completely healed over time. And I just think there's so much momentum that comes into being thankful. And I think being thankful is one, it will guard you from being too prideful, and it will guard you from having those character cracks. Because I think when we start to have character cracks, that's when we start to like believe like I should have that, like that entitlement, you know what I mean? And we've seen it a few times, and it's really destructive. So anyway,
that's a good word right there. Awesome. I love today. This was a good this is worth sharing. If you guys got value out of this, I would encourage you share it on your team page. Maybe in an email, use the link, and help us spread the word. Because,
were we going to do it full?
Yeah, let's. Well, I was getting there.
Oh.
You know, threw off my momentum there.
When you have two type A's working together, right? The fight for the top.
Yeah. So lately, I don't know why, but we've been ending our podcast, or not podcast, but our little Facebook Lives with a fun poll, because we're interacting. It's kind of fun. Yeah. And thanks, Ali, for sharing it. And
wow, you speak French? That's awesome.
I do. French fry, French toast.
French cake.
So here's a fun one. What's your favorite type of food? I know this has nothing related to
we just like to get
to
to
the
know
law
you.
or to growing outside of a waistband. But what's your favorite type of food? Ours is probably sushi. Yeah.
Sushi. Yeah. If I could have anything right now, it'd be
sushi.
Sushi tray.
Yeah, sushi tray. Is it pizza? Is it? We do love some Greek food too, though. Gyros. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
French crepes today. As of today.
Yes. Yeah,
I bet those are like exponentially better than the crepes in America, right?
Yeah.
Are they better than IHOP crepes?
Oh, come on. IHOP's terrible.
Oh man.
Sushi.
Yes.
My people. You know, I was deathly afraid of trying sushi. Actually, she took me to Mongolian barbecue when we first started dating, and I was freaking out. I was like, there's no way this is legal. If like the authorities found out about this place, they would shut this down because it's got like freeze-dried meat, but it's so good. It's delicious. So you just don't know what you don't know. That's one of my favorite quotes. I can't believe I haven't shared that in like all these Facebook Lives. You don't know what you don't know.
You're so lucky I brought culture into your life.
Yeah, I had no culture before Michelle.
All right.
Real good soul food. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes.
Barbecue,
Japanese,
pizza,
Mexican, barbecue.
That's,
barbecue in Texas is exceptional.
That's fun stuff.
Soup.
Hey, you guys, keep staying active if you can in the group. We love seeing when you guys post videos in there. If you want to post any quotes, the private Facebook group. I'm gonna have to add you, Ali. Hopefully, I'm gonna get your permission first because that's a don't be that guy.
Yes,
don't add people. Don't add people to groups without their permission.
Yeah,
we've been added to so many groups, and I'm gonna strangle somebody.
That's gonna be a new chapter in our book.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, well, I think we're done, huh? I think we're wrapping it up. All right. Well, I'm gonna read through those food recommendations because it's making me hungry. And tomorrow, what law are we covering tomorrow?
Oh.
Law number 10. Anybody know what it is? It's been a couple years since I read it.
Rubber band.
The law of the rubber band. Growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. So until next time, we'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 o'clock Pacific, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Later.
Adios.